All right, here we go. We are live. We are live. Good morning. Good morning, traders. Good morning, people, whoever may be watching. Today's a new day for me. This is my first day ever in my life trading without drinking coffee. This is chai tea, not black. It's based off of a vanilla rooibos chai tea. And I intentionally quit coffee last Friday. So today is I timed it so that way the worst of the withdrawals would be behind me and I'd be clear minded to trade today. So we'll see how it impacts my trading. It was brutal. It was brutal. I had a migraine and nausea for like 12 hours overnight, then a headache that lasted for another 10 hours. And then, like, out of the blue yesterday, I felt different. I felt this like clarity that I didn't feel like I'd known in a lot of years. I felt this stable energy that I hadn't noticed in a lot of years. So I'm really curious. I got to give it 7 to 14 days, they say, before you really know how you're impacted. But I'm already super curious. But I'll stop talking. We got 1 minute until open. And so let's see what we got going on here on the chart. I'm down here on the 1 minute. Kind of zoomed in. I want to see what happens here at the open. I don't know what this candle is about, this 9 a.m. candle. It's super big. 260 ticks in one candle with no news. So that's interesting. Seems significant, and it's going to probably take it here right now. So here's the open, 9:30, the bell. Let's see what happens. So we got these relative equal lows down here. At least locally, a nice draw on liquidity, trendline liquidity. For me, I'd be interested if previous day high was taken. I'd be interested potentially in a short. My bias for today is neutral to bullish. We have a news coming up here at 10 a.m. So I'm not in a hurry to take a trade because of this. It's Monday, and it's the week after daylight savings time, which price action after the time change can potentially be a little unpredictable. Excuse me. Whew. What news do we have this week? We have non-farm Friday. Need a haircut. Look fuzzy. Noting this candle without a tail. These candles are high probability targets for liquidity, just like a swing high, swing low. Equal highs, equal lows. So here's the 1 hour chart. We have NQ, ES, and YM. I want it to have taken this previous day high. Otherwise, there's just a weird SMT. Oh, wow. So here this closed, formed a breaker. Not a bad looking breaker. Now we have this inversion. Could have just missed it potentially. I don't know. Just for me, I would have liked to have seen it at least cleared this high here. Taken this liquidity out, and I would have been interested. This is just not clear enough for me, which it's moving without me. It's long gone, so that's okay. So we're just tape reading this short. The formation here was pretty clean. We have an accumulation and manipulation, the model, and a distribution. But there was two things I didn't like about it. One, it was the 930 macro, which typically isn't very clean for me. Like that's a clean setup, so that's where I was actually considering it. Had it taken previous day high, I would have taken that setup. The thing is, we got YM over here looking all weird. Go back to the 15-minute. We have this huge opening range gap, midnight below. It hit 130 ADR, so like it was all of this looked really nice. I just couldn't trust it. So what I do, I make notes like this for myself. I can come back and evaluate this a little bit more later. So going back here to the 1 hour chart, you can see I kind of had anticipated potentially shorting this level up here. It didn't reach it, and it looks like it's reversing. I'm expecting this downside move to be the Judas for the day. I don't think it's going to be the high of the day. So I expect, I don't know if that's the right word. You know, we both predict and we react to price, in my opinion. I know there's traders on both sides of that. I'm somewhere in the middle where I predict, but I'm flexible. So the 2 a.m. candle, this is a 4-hour candle for 2 a.m. Took this low of this candle, pushed up, created this current gap. So this is red because I don't know what it's going to end up being, but it's likely going to be a gap. It's just a caution for me. It's saying, hey, these candle is likely going to want to come balance this out in some way in this candle or the next candle. So this 4-hour candle gave a nice bullish close above this candle here. So I'm still leaning a little bit more bullish at the moment. I'd like to see it come down into this zone and see what happens. Is that 104s? So 104 is right about there. Similar to the 1-hour gap. Being aware we have this new week opening gap that was tapped into. It wasn't balanced, but it was tapped into. So look at that target hit for that short tape read. That's cool. So here in London, London took Asia low on NQ and ES. YM's doing the opposite, where it took the low, came back into the 50% of the range for Asia, and then it's distributing lower. So these two are currently in sync. This is out of sync. This here had no SMT, so it's not 100% convincing. Well, nothing is 100%, but it's not totally convincing for me that this is London low of the day without an SMT down in here. A very clear one. And at the same time, and if that were the case, I would expect New York continuation for certain. Again, as certain as I would think of it to be. But here I'm also not quite seeing high of the day being right there. We're so close to the previous day high, and I think that's our draw on liquidity. That I wonder if it's going to create some kind of like equal highs, come down in here, and then go for it. This is funner. So just kind of waiting. Beautiful short that happened. But I followed my rules. I waited for perfect and clear setups, and if it's not perfect, I didn't do anything. And that's where I wasn't totally clear without this previous day high being tapped. I wasn't totally clear that this was the trade to take. So at the very least, I followed my rules. Maybe there's still a lesson to learn technically somewhere in here. But I followed my rules. All right, so coming down in here, this is nice zone. Some relative equal lows all down in here. There's 8 minutes left in this 1 hour candle, and the 4 hour candle will change over. So what I'd like to see is the second 1 hour candle, the 10 a.m. 1 hour candle, come down into here, give an SMT, clean setup, and a long. Keeping in mind we have a 10 a.m. news driver, which is the ISM manufacturing. So there's news at 10 a.m., which is this red line right here. Oh, over here. This red line. Chair always clicks and creaks and I can't fix it. And it's not an old chair. This is an inversion, could be an inversion here. It's a little small, so I don't really like it. I guess we would include this volume imbalance right up there. Here's another volume imbalance. So that's how I would look at this as for an inversion. Previous first presented fair value gap, it's not low enough for the long. Unless the market's going to play that way today, where it's going to be not quite tapping into zones before reversing. That's possible. See what other people have got going on. Yeah, some people took that short. Back to my jazz. Okie dokie. So ES took liquidity, took London low over here. YM is just dumping, going for this low, which don't have on the screen, but there's a low on the higher time frame that YM is going for right down here, right below it right here. So now since ES took a low, I would be more interested in a long on NQ. I could take it on ES because ES took the low. But I like how NQ's closing a little bit better, or will potentially close in 3 minutes. So just going to kind of project out a trade. 100 tick stop loss. So like that. Ideally, I'd like to risk 125, but for today. But so 100's better than 150. The YM is going for previous day low. So now here on the 4-hour chart, we can see ES has gone down to fill in the new day opening gap, the new week opening gap. YM didn't have one and is going deeper down into this previous new week opening gap. And NQ, it's gonna looks like it's gonna close below this candle here. Which, with the gap below, makes me feel like it's a lower time frame retracement. Now I could be wrong, because I'm assuming that this is the low of this consolidation, and that could be wrong. But with 50 seconds left for this candle to close, I want to see, does the next 4-hour candle trade down into this gap, then I might expect it to go higher. More clearly seen here on the 1 hour. The 1 hour already touched into this gap, but I want to see how this next hour candle opens, high, lows, and closes. So we can even go back over here. They're on. So just watching the hourly opens. See what happens. Price is consolidating before the news in 2 seconds. A little bit of trend line liquidity building up down here. That doesn't make me feel great about a long. I want to see this push down. There we go. Now, even for a long though, ES and YM are looking a little bearish. YM for sure, but it just took the previous day low, so I might expect a response from YM at this level. ES took a low. So it's a reasonable place to consider a long, I believe, unless I'm just offsides. And I'm going to kind of stick with a long bias until proven otherwise. So we tapped into a 15-minute gap. 50% of the opening range gap as well. There is SMT forming. I'd almost like to take the breaker instead. Shoot. Close. Did not close above. So this candle right here tells us that we're not ready for a long. This is the level I'd want to see it at. Here's the 4-hour fair value gap right here. See? There. But it could dig deeper because here's the 1-hour gap. Let's just make sure we got this right here. I could totally be off sides. I'm just leaning bullish. All right, so here's midnight open. Do we have a gap there? Maybe a little bitty one there, but they matter. Where's my pen? Oh boy, just All right. So I'm going in here for this long. So just keeping some things in mind here, like I can't predict what's going to happen on this next trade at all. And I don't need to. I just need to take trades where I think that they're going to work and follow my plan. I also need to, when I look at these, so I have this whole process here that I'm going through. And I also recognize that I may or may not get an entry on a trade. Like down in here, I wanted to long on top of this inversion, and it didn't provide that opportunity. So I looked a little bit higher up and reduced my risk, or reduce my number of contracts so I can increase my stop loss size right there. And I recognize that this may come down and it may hit my stop loss. Like that's just, I accept that this is an expense already. So check those off. So I've accepted the risk, and I can't predict the outcome of this trade. No one can. All right, so a nice little push, close above here. I can push my stop up a little bit. It really shouldn't. It might come back down, test this low. I'm going to front run my exit a little bit here. I see these equal highs as my target. So I'm going to front run them. We do have this inversion, this gap here. I want to see that flipped. I'd like to see us get some kind of fair value gap here. That would help my confidence with distribution. So there we go, nice little gap. Price can come down and test into it. I don't want to see it inverted. So there we go, nice little, I want to see this push. So YM is doing the opposite. I don't like that, but YM's kind of been doing its own thing. ES is correlated, I like that. I don't want to see this candle close down in here. It's kind of stalling out then. All right, so it closed below here. It formed this inversion. That's not a great sign. It can totally happen and then flip. It might want to come down and retest in this gap here. In which case, we can give the stop a little bit more room. but I would have preferred to have seen distribution. And so this here is pretty much my limit. It can come down in here and that's fine and still turn around. But here's where I would want to see some snappier response. So I'm assuming I'm offsides now.
Stop.
All right, stop filled. Unless it's just gonna dig deep and I should have had it at the swing. I could have. It's just not what I typically do. But looking at the other charts, I see this is quite possibly just offsides. Cool. So that's my trade. Okay, so kind of seeing here, I can see it both ways still. It was 8, 10, 10, 10. So that was within that macro. So looking here, the 4-hour chart. So the 4-hour came down, balanced out that fair value gap. Has a wick on the top side, so I'm still neutral on bias at this point. neutral to more bullish, at least right here for NQ. Oops, other chart. I think it's just going to consolidate down here. So I'm not going to give it an attempt at a second long, I don't think. I'd like to see it move to a different level before I attempt anything else. And I don't feel like I can also short anywhere in here. So this black line is the hourly open. It just might be bearish, in which case I don't have a trade. It's just consolidating right down in here. This little zone. It could have been a continuation short. There's a 5-minute gap. Here's a stop hunt. This is a short-term continuation model to the downside. But I don't really have any targets left. Unless they're way down there. Which it looks like it's going for it. So So that's that. Okay, coming down into previous week's equilibrium. These are prior first presented fair value gaps. So this was the level where I was anticipating some kind of reversal. Oh, anywhere in here. At this point, clearly bearish, potentially a reversal down in here, potentially. But this could also be the point in time in which everything flips for sure bearish, like coming down into here, which would be going down to internal range of liquidity for external range. And today, this is the previous day's candle. This could be an inside candle today. I was expecting previous day high to be taken, and that didn't quite happen. So the daily is just in this range, basically. Wouldn't mark that out. And while we did get, this bearish candle here, we got this bearish candle that closed below finally. And this closed below the body, but we still haven't had a close below the previous day wick, the previous day low. And so for me, I'm still bullish until proven otherwise. But I'm wondering, like, if this next candle or two here actually starts the bearish momentum on NQ, a little more similar to here on ES and YM, because this is way overextended for sure. So if that's the case, I don't have a bullish play here, and I want to see more information before I take another trade. So I'm probably just gonna log off, let the day play out, come back tomorrow, and see what new information has presented itself.